Describe your proudest moment as a musician.
Wow, that's hard too. That's another one like
It's
the
another
highlights
tough one.
question.
Yeah, it's a similar one, but this would be the one that made you the proudest of yourself as a musician. That you went, gosh, you know what? I'm going to reach around and pat myself on the back.
It's hard to say. Maybe some of the side project kind of stuff I've been
Mhm.
able to do. Like I've been lucky enough to be able to do records that are very challenging. Instrumental music with some of the best players out there, like the Blotted Science stuff or Conquering Dystopia.
I love Conquering.
So I'm really proud of those. Yeah, and really, yeah, that kind of stuff. Like anything where it's really mostly about the music.
Mhm.
Because, of course, with Cannibal, we do have, the horror imagery and everything, and it's very important to us, But more than anything, like I feel like a musician first, and to really succeed just based strictly on music without any kind of anything extra, you know what I mean? To have something that I'm really proud of for that reason, strictly like a musical thing. Yeah, that I feel really, I guess, proud about those things. Like, for example, when we did the song From Skin to Liquid on the album Gallery of Suicide, I was really, proud of that one because it was slow. It had no gore lyrics of any kind. And, of course, I love fast stuff and I love gore lyrics, but it was nice to be able to do something that showed we could be a heavy band without two of the things that normally we used in our writing that made us heavy. Like speed is a great way to make a heavy song, and playing fast and then having gory lyrics makes a song extreme and matches the aggression. So to be able to make music that's really, really heavy without necessarily using those things, something that I was very proud of. Like the instrumentals we've done, that one in particular, but also Pat's song Infinite Misery is another really
Love that one.
heavy, slow one that, it's as heavy as any of the fast songs we've done, in my opinion.
Something else that springs to mind, you're talking about the slower, heavier stuff that kind of in I'm not as acquainted as I should be with your catalog, but I've listened to a lot of it, and I've listened to a lot of it multiple times. When you do the slower, more impactful stuff, it really sticks out on its own. For instance, I thought one of the coolest things about the show at the Orpheum was that you opened with Code of the Slashers.
Yeah.
Completely unexpected. And it magnifies the power of that particular piece, I think, because it starts out slow and dirgy like that, and it's so heavy. I mean, that's just
yeah.
That's heavy defined in my mind.
It works. It's weird because we didn't think about using that one to open the album. We used the song Only One Will Die, and we initially on that first U.S. tour that we did for the album, that's the one you saw at the Orpheum. The first two shows we tried opening with Only One Will Die,
right?
And we immediately knew, we're like, well, partially the album was so new, but we were like, man, it's not quite. It's fast. It's a fast song, so it wasn't quite giving everybody a chance to kind of dig into it, where Code of the Slashers becomes a fast song.
It does.
But it starts out slow, and it's almost sort of like it's its own intro. And those kind of songs are cool. We've done that a few times in our career. We actually opened with From Skin to Liquid and then went into a very fast song, Disposal of the Body, back in around the turn of the millennium. That was an opening that we did a lot. Very early in the band's career, we have a song called Buried in the Backyard, where the first half is instrumental and then the second half has singing. And we would have, Chris would come out and make his entrance when the singing happened. So songs where they kind of contain their own intro are, I think it works better live because you're building up a little anticipation.
Yeah.
Whereas on an album, we kind of just like to just have it be the immediate, punch.
I like the compositional element of Slashers with the recapitulation. You start with the slow heavy,
Yeah.
and it comes back later in the song.
Yeah.
I love that. because when it comes back after all the Fast Furious stuff, it's even heavier the second time.
Yeah.
Because it stands in contrast so much. It's one of my favorite things on
Yeah, that's
any of your albums, honestly.
One of the big songs on that record, and again, that's Rob who wrote that, and it's that's one of the things think has always been a strong part of our band is everybody, who's been in the band really has written, all the five of us now and the three guys who aren't in the band anymore, everybody wrote a lot, and that created variety throughout our catalog, so there's some bands where you have one primary songwriter, and unless the guy, and fortunately a lot of these guys are geniuses and have a lot of creativity and they keep it fresh, but when you have a bunch of guys working together and everybody writes a little bit differently, like if I'd written something like Code, I don't know if I would have gone back to that, you know what I mean, like
right.
that it's Rob's way of thinking for that particular song made it the killer song that it is, so that's, I think, the best bands in metal and in general are the ones where it's a team and where everybody's contributing creatively,
Well said.